Okay, so we're back up on the bike here. It's almost like it's a different day. The sun has poked out again, and so you can see it's very bright. I'm going to try to keep my head kind of down a little bit. We're up on the top of this sort of rather high embankment. The sun is just right directly above us, and so that is probably going to be problematic for the camera. The GoPro has a very wide angle lens, and so it's very prone to picking up the flare from the sun. So here the grade goes through a bunch of curves. We were just coming through kind of a long sort of straight section there, and so here we get into some curves. And right up here is actually one of the few examples of rock work that we have on this section. Most of what you see here is just sort of cuttings. Basically, we're in the floodplain here of the Nipigon River. So not anything in the way of rock work. So here, as you can see, they shaved probably the little nose off of this rock cut. Lots of debris here. Like basically, like you can see bits and pieces of railway tie that are just like everywhere. Obviously, they had some trouble pulling out the ties here. They're like everywhere, scattered all over the place. So again, it's kind of one of these goofy days where, you know, the sun comes out and it's warm, and I feel like I'm overheating, and then the sun goes behind a cloud and the wind picks up, and then it's like you're freezing to death. So there's kind of a bit of a curve here. Again, another culvert, no marker. Lots of debris here. Lots of buckets and things like that. Here you can see it's kind of a little bit of an S curve and a little bit of a cut. Where's the sun? I'll try. Sun keeps shifting in relation to what we are here, depending on what's happening with the grade. So I'll try to keep my head turned a little to the right here. Cross over to the other side of the grade. So here's another marker, 124 point something or other. Again, it's I'm pretty sure there's yeah, it's a modern culvert. Again, I don't remember where I stopped. I'm trying to remember where the good spots were, and then where the ones that we just kind of recorded on the GPS. Usually I have a pretty crude marking system that I do. You'll actually see one example right here where I make a mark in the ballast here. So this is a modern culvert, but there's a mileage marker on there. So 124.42. Now I think this one was the one I was kind of interested in because it says 124.42, and then maybe I'm mixing it up with something else, but there's a fiber box up there, and I swear to God that it had the same mileage on it. All right, so our next point of interest is coming up here in a second. Again, sort of little valley, little ravine, kind of built up section, and then yet another ravine here. And so there's the mileage markers hiding in the brush. So that's 124.49. I can't remember if this was one of the ones that I was supposed to stop in. I don't think so. I think it's just kind of a more modern type of culvert. Maybe we'll just poke our head down and see what's going on here. You can see how grown in it gets in here, eh? Yeah, this one looks just a modern metal culvert. All right, so we're gonna jump back up on the bike. I think we have another stop coming up here in a few seconds, probably another 100 meters or so, and so we'll move ahead towards that one. All right, so we're back pedaling here and just continuing pushing our way towards Nipigon. Again, you can see we're going through another kind of grown-in section here. You'll notice that maybe people have kind of taken upon themselves to kind of trim back some of the growth to try to keep the grade kind of clear. And so here's our next marker, 124.54. And again, I have no idea if we were supposed to stop at this one or not. We'll go take a quick look. Okay, so that was a negative on that one. Again, I don't remember. I'm trying to look at my GPS because I try to usually mark the ones that we need to kind of stop for and which ones we don't. But I stopped at so many that I've kind of lost track. So here's yet another culvert. One has a marker, but it's not legible. Now there's something on my GPS here that I'm looking at, but I don't know what it's... Oh, here. Right here. So, maybe some of the railway guys can help me out. This is definitely a speed sign. And so, I'm guessing that is speed sign. And then it says D, it looks like DU 25. Does that mean that you're supposed to come down to 25? Again, obviously people have used it for target practice because it is literally full of bullet holes. But again, a kind of a neat little find. I've never seen one with the two signs on there, with the secondaries, with the second sign, with the second speed on there. So that's kind of a neat little thing to see. All right, let's scoot ahead here. All right, so we have another culvert coming up here, and this is one that we actually have to stop and take a look at. Kind of get my act together here. So the culvert is right here. And you can see my my marker. Okay, so, and you can see the mileage count, 124.62, and so that's on the Kinghorn. And so the original lines would have been 74.92. So what we'll do is we'll drop down, take a look at what's going on, and then come back and continue plugging our way towards Nipigon. All right, so we're down here below the grade on the west side. You can see there's still quite a bit of ice in this creek. Again, we've seen this in other places. All of this sort of silty clay splattered all over the place. Kind of very, very interesting. So we're about 20 feet down from the level of the grade. And what we have here is we have one of these segmented concrete culverts. It's quite large. It's quite a ways down there. I'm not going to go any further because I don't want to break through. This ice is pretty thick, but I don't want to take a chance here. And you can see the massive amount of ice that's still in here. And again, it's the beginning of May, so there's still a lot of snow and ice that's kind of lingering in these little concealed little ravines and valleys here. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump the grade and go see what's going on the other side. All right, so we've worked our way down on the east side, obviously the little bit sunnier side. You can see there's not as much snow and ice down here. Still a little bit inside the culvert. So this side's actually in pretty good shape. Not too much kind of erosion. There's a little bit of erosion that's kind of happening just up above there. But what's interesting, I've never seen this before, the timbers, those almost look like sort of bridge-sized timbers that they've tucked underneath to act kind of as a spillway. And I'm guessing that the purpose of that is to try to prevent the water from spilling down and kind of eroding the ground underneath the culvert. I don't know when these were put in. These concrete culverts are quite old, but these timbers here are still doing a pretty good job of sort of diverting the water, and you can see there is quite a bit of water that's coming down out of this creek. Okay, so we're going to jump back up on the grade and just continue pushing south.